So this is podcast number 1.
Hey.
We're just going to get started because, like the podcast name, which is...
You don't have to be, well, that's the background of it, but the podcast name is Start to Be Great.
What does that mean?
Kimmy and I were coming up with podcast names, and we had like a bunch of names, like stupid.
Silly.
Like, what'd you want? 2 girls, 1 mic? And then I was like, sharks. I don't know. We were just writing everything down. But
and then you said this one, and I'm like, that's a good name. You were just mentioning this to me at the gym.
I just liked the quote, and I actually wanted to talk about it because it was kind of like a big motivator. And it like says so much about what we're doing right now because we're both uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, so the quote is am I supposed to look over there?
I'm gonna.
The quote is,
yeah.
You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So it's like, yeah, it just hits because it's like, you want things to be perfect, just like before you even get going.
Yeah.
Like I had to try and do that with like starting my company. You can't. You're not gonna know everything before you start.
And you're not gonna be good at something when you're that. But that's why so many people don't start something out of fear of failing before, and you're gonna fail. Like, failing to start.
Expectation of failure is important.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about that in the podcast, but we should probably introduce ourselves. So go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to the first day of class. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, I hated this part. I don't so much mind talking about or talking to people like in a public speaking setting. I just don't like talking about myself. So I'm Anna. I am 34 years old from Washington State. Just moved to Texas last April, so it's been over a year. And I kind of find it funny that it's raining right now because it's like Seattle weather, and it doesn't rain here in August. Like it's so dry. I don't have to mow my grass all summer because it's so hot. It's like cooked. I have a dog and a kid, and spend a lot of time in the gym. I don't do any like sports or anything like competitively, but I just started jiu-jitsu this year. So I'm crazy-eyed white belt. And that's been fun. It's like definitely humbling because, again, I like to be good at something when I start, and I am not a natural athlete when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Like a lot of the stuff on your good side is challenging. It does not come natural because it's like a different style of fighting than what like I would do. But then you have to do we call it your retard side, and it's terrible because you're doing it backwards of what it kind of feels natural, or maybe doesn't even feel natural on the good side, and then you like do it with your non-dominant side. It's
I think that's a good test of if you're good at something. Can you do it opposite?
Yeah, ambidextrous. Yeah. Well, because like you could go up against someone who their natural side is your bad side, and then you're like, oh, I could freaking get him in an armbar if I was on the other side, but this side's weird because I don't ever practice it. So it is cool. They call it like it's like a mental sport. Yeah. Because it's very much about like technique and strategy versus like strength, and I mean that's important too.
Yeah. So we have to practice in bodybuilding stage right and stage left, entering both sides, because
you never know
until you get to the show. In most shows you can, they'll tell you beforehand, but you have to be comfortable doing both.
Yeah, posing on both sides and stuff too. Turn. Yeah. Oh, and then if you're like going for a big show and you have to try on your bad side, you're like.
We avoid this side at all costs.
Yeah.
Only look at this side, please. So is that all about you? You got any more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I worked in healthcare for a while, and I quit my job this year to start my own business, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. And I'm just pumped. I'm pumped to be on the podcast. Like, we were talking this morning about what is the syndrome? Imposter syndrome. And I was just like, who the fuck am I to like make a podcast? Like, who wants to listen to me? And
I want to listen to you.
I know.
Cheerleader.
Kimmy is my #1 fan. But so like, I'm excited to do it because I have recently dove really deep into like self-growth and just bettering myself and learning. And I'm a very stubborn person. It's hereditary, I swear. And like, it's yeah. And you know, I thought like I had like a lot of pride too. So I'm like, no, I'm good the way I am. And I'm like, that was so backwards thinking, you know. And so I just want to share the things that I've learned and the way that I've grown with people who haven't gotten to that point yet. Because like I feel like, wait, you know, you're 25 and you're doing the same shit that like I just started doing a couple of years ago, which is awesome. But so if we can get people to like get on that path sooner than later, like, you know.
You have a wonderful perspective and it should be shared. So I guess I'll talk about me. I'm Kimmy. I just moved to Texas about a year ago. I'm originally from Arkansas, but I moved here from Tampa, Florida. So I got my undergrad degree in biochemical animal science from the University of Arkansas. After I graduated, I moved to Tampa, and they have a really big bodybuilding scene there. So that's where I've been into fitness my entire life, played collegiate soccer, just really got into lifting, just for the fun of it. But then I moved to Tampa, and they had a really big bodybuilding scene there. So I was like, let's try it, let's, I used to run marathons, and that was like a big challenge for me, pushing yourself to the limit in running wise of like, who's crazy enough to run 26 miles in one go. Right. But now I'm meeting all these ultra marathoners and these 100-mile racers. Dude, and I'm like, I was like, miles? My lungs are bleeding at like mile 10. Like,
how
what
many
are we
days
doing?
Is that though? Because they just go for days.
They go nonstop.
Yeah.
But it's not days. I mean, like they run like marathons in training.
Yeah.
I don't know. Shout out to you guys. So I had done the marathon thing, I'd done the lifting thing. I'm like, what's harder than running 26 miles? Let's do like an 8-week prep of starving yourself and lifting every single day, and let's shred me down to the bone and let's see it. So I did that. I got into the bodybuilding scene in Tampa, did my first show in December of 2020, and then I ended up doing really well at that show, and I got caught in the masochistic sport, and I've been in it ever since.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm just now kind of branching out and figuring out what my next thing is. But bodybuilding's really big in my life here. So I moved to Austin in this week 1 year ago. Ooh. So I've been here for 1 year anniversary.
Very nice.
And since moving to Austin, I've stayed big in the bodybuilding scene. I work at a gym. I'm a personal trainer, and I'm also a stretch therapist. So big into recovery. We'll talk about that in some of our podcasts. But other than that, that's pretty much what I'm doing.
You have 2 kitties.
Oh, I have 2 kitties, 2 wonderful baby kittens. One's a year old. Her name is Calypso, but we call her Callie. And then the second one is a rambunctious little kitten named Knox. And she's about 4 months old.
She's cute.
She's cute.
I don't even like cats, and she's cute.
I love cats. I love cats. Team cat. I'm gonna get hate for that, but team cat. It's fine. I like dogs too, but
I know you do.
Cats are better.
All right.
So let's just get right into it. What's our topic for today? We're gonna talk about manifestation. We're gonna talk about how to be better and manifest the future of your dreams and not let others deter you.
Yeah. Before we get into that, though, I want you to tell everyone about
our walk this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause that was good.
Yeah. So recently, I've been deep diving into my inner self. I want to figure out like some things about myself, and so I ask myself a lot of thought-provoking questions, and you help me a lot with that. But one thing that I've noticed is I have this intense sense of gratitude recently. I had this a few months ago, and it lasted a long time. It's like so overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything I have in my life. I am pumped.
Well, yeah.
When I wake up, I'm just like, like I was talking about this. Just like when you wake up on the good side of the bed, right?
Yeah.
So this morning I woke up and I got to sleep in a little bit, and I woke up and the birds were chirping outside my window and my wind chimes were making the beautiful melody, and I'm like, Cinderella, it was wonderful. And then I looked at my phone, and you had just texted me like 8 minutes ago. And I woke up to that text of, hey, when we walking? And I'm like, hell yeah, we're walking. I said, let me just slide out of bed at 9 a.m. like a bum and get up and walk with you. So then I made some coffee. I made an extremely large chai tea latte, because you need both, right?
Yes.
And then met you, and we had the walk, and I was just thinking about everything in my life that I'm so so grateful for. I'm so grateful for my job and my clients, and I'm grateful for my friends and my healthy body, and I'm so excited. I'm like amped.
Yeah.
Amped.
It's a different like energy feeling.
Yeah.
And I remember this when you told me this the first time. You were like, I'm so like gracious right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
like
okay.
I love everything and everybody. Just spread the love. But what made me think about that, it was like, why don't I feel like this all the time? Like, why is it so hard to feel gratitude when, you know, when you're not in a great headspace?
Yeah.
When you have a lot of things going against you, like I think it's a practice.
Yeah.
You gotta practice gratitude.
Skill, for sure.
Yeah. So like it's easy to be gracious when you have a bunch of things going for you. Like right now I got wonderful clients, got a wonderful job, wonderful friends, eating great food, doing a lot of new exciting things.
When you're finally feeling good physically,
Yeah.
like not under like all that stress.
Yeah. And so it's like I want to be this grateful for everything, even when there's some things not going for me.
Yeah.
So I think that's something good.
That's the practice, is you have to like it's always like in the hard times is when you have to like, you know, remember the shining light. Like you have to remember to practice it when you don't want to. It's like it's the discipline for that skill.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody wants to think about that when you're like getting overwhelmed with all these tough issues or like things, just life.
Yeah. I try to keep a really positive outlook on life, and what they say is like, one quote that has stuck with me for a lot of years is, it's impossible to be angry while you're grateful.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to have those emotions at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I notice like when I'm angry at something, if I just think about things that I am grateful for, like the anger kind of dissipates. Like it's not a foolproof system, but it's like if you can just be grateful, everything else will fall into line.
Yeah.
Look for the good. Be positive. No bad days.
Yeah, anger is like a, you know, toddler. It's like uncontrollable, like it just kind of does its thing. But if you can choose, I think the thing is like choosing your mind to spend your energy on something else doesn't allow it's like the toddler needs a nap, you know, and it's like focus. It's just getting clear on something different that's positive will just kind of make it melt away.
Yeah.
But I actually have thought about that a couple times since you told me that, so that is a good quote for sure. Yeah, I think that's why people have gratitude journals, is because it requires like practice, like diligence, doing it over and over again, consistency with that. I have on my bathroom mirror, it says, "Be grateful."
Be grateful.
And I look at it every single day.
Yeah.
Now looking at it doesn't actually necessarily mean that I'm not like perfect. I don't every day like sit there, but it's just being mindful of it. I think is the first part of developing a habit. You mean
manifesting?
Yeah, yeah, kind of like that.
I also wanted to talk about how you can how one like spark of inspiration can fuel your gratitude. Like it's not necessarily like you don't wake up grateful every day. Like today I had a Cinderella moment. But like, say that I had to get up super early for a client and that client bailed on me, you know?
Yeah.
I can choose to make that like ruin my day or put me in a bad mood, or I can choose to like, oh, I have a free hour that I didn't have. I can take my time. I can drink my coffee.
Sure.
You can turn bad situations good just by being grateful for what you have rather than looking at what you didn't have.
Yeah, it's totally your perspective and like your mindset.
Yeah.
This guy in the coaching group I'm in, he shared a little reel or something the other day, and it was like, don't forget you have control of your emotions and your thoughts, and like you have control over that. And I was like, yeah, like because I like the accountability aspect of it, and also like I can really tell someone's emotional maturity and understanding if they're like, no, because he had someone that commented immediately, like they're like, you don't have control of your emotions, and I'm like, you should. That is the goal, and you maybe don't start that way, but it's something that you should strive to have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why like what monks are like the most peaceful, serene beings, is because they don't let their emotions control them at all.
So that's a good question that I wanted to ask you. Like, to what degree have you actually controlled the course your life has taken? Like, how do you think your decisions, to what degree have they made the life that you've had?
100%. Everything that I have chosen has brought me to where I'm at. Whether I choose it out of fear, out of, you know, anger, or, you know, feeling stuck, like those are my own choices. Like every little step has led me to where I'm at.
Yeah.
and all the lessons I've learned.
I think that is one thing that I'm super big on is radical ownership of your decisions. Like, you can say like, oh, this happened to me, you know, I'm this way because of this, or my past, or my trauma. Yeah. And it's not necessarily like, yes, there's some things you can't control, but you can control how you react to them, and you can control how you're going to respond in the face of diversity. Right. So it's like, to what degree have my decisions actually controlled the course of my life? 100% I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a coworker, well, she was a classmate of mine in X-ray school, and became a coworker of mine, and she was awesome. Her name is Sosin, and she used to say this thing. She'd say, "Don't give it power," and it was just like, don't allow that thing to make you respond in a way you don't want to respond. Like, if you don't want to be that person that like lashes out at people that you love, don't allow yourself to be that. Don't give them power, or give a situation power to like
100%
make you feel like you have to behave a certain way. Like, you're in control of all that.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. Don't give it power. And I was going through like court stuff, and like I was stressed, and that helped me a ton.
Yeah.
Because I was like, holy crap, like, it's about taking the power back in your own hands, not like allowing someone that like influence you in that way.
I have something to add to that. It's when I did my first prep, right, in December 2020, and it was completely new to me, all of the variables. I didn't know how my food was going to change, how my cardio was going to change, how my training was going to change. I didn't know. I was just literally listening to my coach. He's amazing, Brandon Cooper, and he was guiding me along the way, and I was just like, here, I'm in your hands. But I also, because I didn't have control over everything, all the variables, I had to just follow the plan. I didn't really control my emotions in response to the plan. Yeah. So I lashed out a lot at the guy I was dating at the time. I was angry. I was all the things like, oh, you said you're tired. Well, I have to do this, and I have like a fourth of the food of you. Like, I like took it personally that he had a different life, you know? I know. I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. So then at the end of my prep, when I won, and I was so like overwhelmed at, oh crap, I did it. Like, it's over, it's done now. I was ashamed at the way that I acted during the prep, leading up, and it kind of soured the whole win. It was like, I made a vow to myself that I would never take a prep out on somebody else ever again, because that is a decision that I made, and it's a luxury to do a prep. There's so many people that don't get to choose to eat a tiny amount of food. I have the luxury to choose to eat the tiny amount of food I get to eat, and I have the luxury to go to the gym and to train every day, and I have the luxury of a healthy body that can push to the limits. And so after that prep, I was like, I will never take it out on somebody else, and I haven't. I go through preps, and people will come to me and they're like, oh man, we couldn't even tell you're in prep, you're in such a good mood all the time. And it's like, well, it's fake. Just kidding. But it is, it's an act of choice to be okay when you're not okay. And you know, now I internalize a lot of the emotions, and I actually get a little bit sad. So I could work on that. When I'm hangry, I just get sad. But I don't take it out on other people, and so that's radical ownership of my decisions. I don't want to take it out on other people, so I don't. I need to find a healthier coping mechanism, but we're still actively growing every day.
Don't want to take it out on yourself. So have a balance. Find out how to let it go.
But angry, I don't need a Snickers. You know? I control my emotions, and I accept that that these feelings are going to be there, and I control how I let them affect me. Yeah,
because like you could win, but like at what cost? Like,
and are you ruining relationships to get there?
Seriously.
Luckily,
you could permanently do some damage.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, people will end relationships after one conversation.
Yeah. Because
we've all been there.
We've all been there.
I mean, that's the end you're coming in, but.
So we're moving on. We'll move on topics. Complacency kills. What does complacency mean to you?
You know, doing the same thing so often that you don't have to think about what you're doing anymore.
Yeah.
So then you just do it naturally, but then you may not notice the small little things, and you might get lazy. And like, if you turn walk in a square every single day, and then eventually, 100 days later, you're rounding those corners, and you're not walking in a straight square anymore. and then eventually you're cutting the corners even more, and that's when accidents happen, and like, or just lack of action happens.
And it's like now you're in a circle. Like, how you can't really gauge time when you're in a circle. You can't really gauge how long you've been complacent when you fall into like habits. Everything's habits, right?
Yeah.
The power of habits, and your habits control your life, and you're a slave to your habits. So might as well be slave to good habits rather than bad habits.
Yeah.
And so I think what combats complacency is checking in with yourself and making sure that you're doing enough. You know, like you have to check in and see, when is the last time that you tried something new? You know, when you challenged yourself last?
I was just gonna say challenges, because like, even if you're a creature of habit and you don't like new things, which I have been known to be, I can still challenge myself. Like, we use the gym as an example. I can still, like, how many people go to the gym and they're not getting any bigger, their body isn't changing, and you've seen them for like,
call it maintenance.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, but like, if you're, I don't know, there's the whole theory behind, like, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. I don't care if you're standing still, like, I still want to be moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people that never change their bodies, and maybe that's fine for them, but like, you know, right now you're in a new phase of your fitness where you want to focus more on like what you're physically capable of doing, like functionality, performance, versus like aesthetics, right? So like, you can always challenge yourself. You know, like if you have been maintaining for 2 years, okay, well maybe you try growing a little bit, or maybe you don't want to grow inside. Maybe you love the size and shape of your body now, but maybe you want to see if you can start doing handstands.
Learn a new skill.
Or learn something else that your body is capable of doing. It's like so amazing. You ever watch those like videos of the people that are like doing crazy things and you're like, I didn't know humans could do this. Parkour. I mean, honestly, I know parkour is so stupid, but like, I don't do any of that. Like, that shit's, like, some of these people are crazy. Like, the ones that walk on, like, super high, like, building edges and stuff, or tight ropes, like, acrobats, like, athletes, like, humans are amazing. And the average person never knows what their body's fully capable of.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I'm fully capable of yet, but that's why I'm always trying to get better, because I want to get closer to that. I don't want to just be, like, way down here when I could have done all this.
Yeah. So, I guess my question is, at what like point, like you have all these people that are comfortable with their life and they love their life and they're like, well, I like the way I'm at, why would I change anything? You know, like, why, you know, fix something that's not broken? Where is the line there?
That's a mindset thing, the fixing something, like that's, I think personally, I mean, you can't make people change. You can inspire people to want to change, but I think personally, it is our duty and obligation to be the best versions of ourselves and to like I don't expect, maybe this is my negativeness right now sneaking out. I don't expect to like leave the same footprint as like Elon Musk. You know, he did a lot of shit. I'm not an inventor per se, maybe I will be, but I don't expect to leave that, but I want to leave people behind that were like, man, she was a good person.
Made an impact.
And they changed my life. Yeah. Even if it was just like a smile at the grocery store or, you know, like something stupid. I want to impact people. I think it's our obligation, our duty, not just as like humans on earth, but like Americans, you know, like other countries and other people look up to us. And I think that our country's lost a lot of pride and, you know, accountability is not a big thing anymore. And so people want to like, I don't think a lot of people are going to break that habit.
It's a difficult question. I think it's all like, you have to check in with yourself. Like, are you doing enough to personally satisfy yourself? With me, I never feel like I'm doing enough. And that's not necessarily a great thing, but I'm every single day, like, I don't know enough. I don't do enough. I don't make enough impact every single day. Like, I fall into the bad habit of not taking time to reflect and not taking time to rest.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm go, go, go. I do not have a stop button. I never have. I probably never will. But I don't know at what point you can be, like we said before, grateful for what you have, but always wanting more. Like that's a difficult balance to find.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think, again, like we were talking, gratitude is a gift to practice it.
Yeah.
And so,
so I guess, like, what inspires you what inspires you to do more? Like where do you find inspiration in your daily life to be like, well, I like this, we're starting a podcast. Why? And it's like, let's challenge ourselves today. Let's do this. Like, what's your inspiration for trying new things?
I have a couple. Honestly, one of the biggest ones is having Summer in my life.
That's a good one.
I feel like ever since she's been in my life, I want her to see what's possible. And if I'm not trying new things or pushing myself, some of the things that come out of that girl's mouth, it's funny because it's like, whoa, she sounds just like a mini me or something, or she's like parroting me, and I'm like, I'm not telling her to say these things, but she sees
because they watch and listen.
And I'm like, holy crap! And like realizing that power that we have on like the younger generation, not even just like your own kids, but like, we have young people that work at the gym and like look up to both of us that are like, oh, like I see that person all the time, and like, I want to be a good role model. I want to lead by example.
Yeah.
And so that's probably like my biggest push. And I also have a fear of like regret.
Yeah.
Like I don't wanna be on my deathbed and wish I would have lived.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I've heard a couple of people tell this story. I think it might have been Ed Milet to start, but the idea is, let's say that you die, whether you believe in heaven or not, but let's say you get up there and you are standing before God and you see this other person. This person is who you were meant to be.
Ooh, chills.
How similar do you look to that person?
Yeah.
You were created for this big thing and had all this power, whatever it was, to be the best version of yourself. And how similar is it when you look in that, like you look in your own eyes basically, and like see how close you came to it.
Yeah. And are you proud of the person you are?
Right. And so I don't know if I expect to like get to 100% the same. I mean, that would be perfect, obviously, but really freaks me out thinking about that, thinking about like just being like, man, see this cool life that I could have had. And it's like, why didn't I try? Why didn't I go after it?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of daunting. Like you think at the end of your life, well, everything you're supposed to do in your entire life, that's a daunting thought, right? So I think it's easier. So talking about inspiration, I think it's easier to break it down closer to closer. Like people say, take it day by day, right? Like achieving smaller goals, being 1% better every single day, into then you're making big moves, big decisions, big changes. But it starts with your decisions today.
Yeah.
And I think that's what my inspiration is. Mine's more, I don't know if it's like vanity or what. It's like I want to be the best. I never I do everything full send, everything 100%, all my effort. Like I don't know how to not.
Yeah.
And so I put myself 100% into everything, and I expect to be the best. I would never be like, well, I'll be okay being adequate at this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. Like my mom says, she's like, see, you like to win, but you hate to lose. Yeah. And that is true. Like I want to be the best, and I will always strive to be the best, but you will not see me not trying. You will not see me not putting my full effort into something. I'm going to do my damn hardest to win so that I don't lose. Yeah. And I think that's important. I don't know if it's like a vanity thing of like, I don't want other people to see me fail. It's not necessarily that. No. It's the fact that like at the end of the day, am I okay knowing that I did everything that I could to do whatever it is the best of my capability. Yeah.
No, I think that's something that's like kind of lost, because I feel like I have like phases where I like, there's like certain things I care so much about, and certain that like I used to be like, I'm gonna do a little Friends reference. I used to be like the Monica, like always competing against like anything, like who can have the cleanest floor in the kitchen, like I was just competing, like everything's competition. And I still sometimes do that. People are like, it's not a competition. I'm like, everything is a competition.
You're just saying that because I'm better than you.
You're just sad you're gonna lose. But I've like reeled it back a lot, and so now I kind of like pick and choose where I'm like crazy about it, because it's like a lot. But I think in general, not enough people feel that way.
No.
They're just like, I mean, you can see that with this COVID situation. I shouldn't have said
Ooh,
it. I
you
shouldn't
just
have said
dipped your little toe.
it. We're gonna get flagged. Episode 1. Fucked. Cut that out.
Oh, man.
But like people were just like so okay with like,
Yeah.
well, I have to do this to keep my job, or I have to do this to like see my family, and it's like, that's just kind of like the reaction I think of like so many people, and that's like,
2020.
right, and it's like, someone else just like, you know.
Okay, well that brings into a good topic I want to discuss. It's at what point are the people in your life affecting your decisions, and at what point are you letting other people deter you from your dreams? They say you are like you're most alike the 5 people you surround yourself with.
I completely
Like
agree.
checking your inner circle, like who is supporting you into actively making great decisions, and who is kind of like falling into complacency with you. You know, it's easy to go over to somebody's house, like you're on a diet. Oh, they're eating pizza. Well, you know, it's just tonight. You know, I'll have one slice. Like, are you falling into complacency because of others, or, you know, like how do you affect that?
Well, I mean, end of the day, like you need to be disciplined to stick to your plan if you have a plan. For example, when you were on prep, you would come over here, and I'm not like unhealthy, but like you wouldn't even eat the stuff that I was considering healthy because you couldn't, because it wasn't on your program, which is called discipline.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you can have friends that don't have the same like lifestyle or like, you know, things they care about. Like some people don't think like certain processed foods are bad or whatever, and then even if you're not like prepping, you still don't want to eat it, you know, like, so like that shouldn't influence your decision. But at the same time, like, confiding in people who are negative and like surrounding yourself by people that like aren't going after goals, like that stuff, I feel like definitely plays a big role.
So like I would come over and you may be eating different stuff than me, right? And that wouldn't let that affect me because that's my discipline. But I wouldn't surround myself around you if you were constantly asking me to go out to bars, if you were constantly asking me to do things that would put me in a situation, set me up for failure. You know, you're constantly pushing me harder than I could go. Hey, dude, like you got cardio to do, I'll do it with you. You know, you'll jump on the Stairmaster next to me. You'll go on an outdoor walk with me. You'll do things that are supporting me in my goals, and that's what's important. Like you can't take, you know, like you have to radical ownership of your decisions, but you are like who you surround yourself with, and if you surround yourself with toxic people, it's going to infect your life.
I agree. I tell that to someone all the time. Like, pick who are your 5 closest people, and you know, people like our groups of friends and people like change, and sometimes it's a little hard because the people that you've known for the longest are part of like an old part of you that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. And for the longest time, I stayed friends with people because I knew them so long.
That's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard to recognize that you've grown out of certain friendships, certain situations.
And if they're not damaging you, like you don't have to cut them out, but like if you're still hanging out with them all the time and they're like doing the same stuff, like for sure, that's not good. Like staying friends with someone because you've been friends with them for so long is not.
It's complacent.
It is, and it's also like super insulting. Like if the other person knew that was the only reason why you were friends, like how that would make me feel like shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, fuck you. Like if if I'm not adding to your life, if I'm not positive, if you don't like me, that's one thing. I'd rather have the truth.
Yeah.
Than just know that you just thought, well, I've known you since 2006, so here we are. Like, get out of here. I don't need that. I don't need it just as much as you don't need someone in your life that isn't like positive. Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people appreciate the honesty like I do.
I love honesty. Like that's one of the things that it's required to be in my inner circle. You have to never lie to me. Tell me the truth, even when it's hard. Like I would rather you hurt my feelings, or better me. You know, like I might be offended in the moment, but if I'm overall better for it, please tell me. Like don't let me, like if I'm falling into bad habits or being complacent, like call me out for it. Like if I ask you, do I look fat in this and I look fat in it, please God tell me I look fat in it, because I'm gonna go out and we're gonna take pictures and I'll be like, you said I didn't look fat in this. And then I'm gonna be like, I don't trust you. I don't trust your opinion anymore.
Right.
Whereas if you're like, hey, you don't look fat in that, but you would look better in a different shirt, and I put the different shirt on, I respect you. Thank you.
See, I've been working on my delivery. My old roommate will tell you.
It's all about delivery.
Oh, she had this one dress, man. So she had like interesting taste, we'll just say. Not the same as mine. She had really great stuff, but some of it was like, what? And she tried on this one dress, and I was like, you need to take that off. And she's like, why? And I was like, and burn it. She's like, you don't have to be so rude about it. I'm like, it's not you and the dress, it is the dress. That dress would not look good on anybody. It's terrible. And she's like, you don't have to say it like that. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's true. So I'm working on my delivery a little bit, trying to get some more tact back in my life. Like, you don't have to be hurtful, but like, definitely telling the truth. Like, she had never taken the tags off, so she had never worn it anyway. She was like, fantasy world thought it looked good.
But you have to, thinking of your delivery, like even if she wanted to wear that dress, every time she looked at the dress, she would think about your comments on it.
I know.
And she would be super insecure about it, even if she wanted to wear it and decided to wear it.
Yeah.
So your words permanently affect people, you know, like that.
Totally. I know, I'm learning about myself and my delivery.
Yeah.
Well, I used to just think it was, I was surrounded by Scorpios. I used to just think I was like surrounded by overly sensitive people. And then I realized, oh, it's not just them. It's me. So, it's fine.
Yeah, it's the genuine, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. Not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
I'm real fucked up on it.
Hey, ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of honesty, like, I kind of like was reminded of it earlier, talking about making assumptions, and you just said taking things personally. I do like the 4 agreements.
Oh.
I don't necessarily like, the book is a little weird. I listened to it on audiobook, and it was like, had like some flutes, because like, I'm pretty sure we're convinced that he was like high when he was writing it. I don't know. And it's just.
So you're talking about what, the 4 agreements? Do you know who wrote it?
Yes, it's in my room. Anyway, it's
by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes, that one. And
A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom is the rest of the title.
I mean, I just like, I think one of the reasons why we get along so well is we both like honesty. So that's be impeccable with your word. That's the first one.
Yeah.
We don't take things personally, and we don't make assumptions about each other. And I think a lot of that comes from like respecting each other's opinions and knowing that, like, even if I'm being brutally honest with you, like, I'm coming because I care about you and I want the best for you. It's coming from a good place. It's not like a jealousy or fear or anger situation. And so I don't know, it works. And I don't think a lot of people, that's why I like that book so much. Like, I don't think a lot of people apply honesty, or like, I talk to Summer about all the time, I'm drilling her about, if you say you're gonna do something, do it.
Oh,
your
that's
word
my
is important.
biggest pet peeve. Biggest.
I hate it.
No, it's flakiness and being true to your word. If your word means nothing, you mean nothing. Like, if you say you're gonna be somewhere, I expect you to be there. If I give you something I need you to do, you say you're gonna do it, and then I come back and it's not done, I'm like flabbergasted. I'm like, oh God, that was checked off in my brain, it's done. Like, if I have to come back and then it's still not done, or I have to do it, it is, no. Hashtag Virgo.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. I mean, making action is the key. Like, taking the action that you say you're gonna take. Like, words, like, literally. Yeah. It's funny because they mean it means so much, but it also they also can mean nothing. It's like, you know, words without their action mean nothing, but then, like, your words are also important just to, like, say and be there saying those things.
So I have something to add to that. I had a professor in college, and like I said, my degree is in biochemical animal science. So I spent a lot of time working the fields, working cattle, that kind of stuff. And it was what the professor said stuck with me. He said, who are you going to call to feed the cows at 4 a.m.? Because there's people in your life that you would call if you needed them, right? You would call for support, you would call if you needed them. Who would you call when you're on the side of the road and you need help and it's 4 a.m. and you don't know, like you're like, I'm in a jam. Who can I call that's going to be there? Who's going to pick up and who is going to be there? Who are you going to call to feed the cows at 4 a.m.? Who do you know? Like, that's an inconvenient time to get up, but it has to be done. Who are you gonna call? And I said, I want to be that person. I want to be the person that you know you can call and they will do it. And I think about that often. I think about it all the time of, like, who are my people right now? I check in, like, who is my inner circle? Like, there's a lot of people that I would call on for different situations. And like, you know, you have, like, just say you have a best friend. That's
Right.
There is no, like, I have lots of best friends for
childhood
different
kind of idea,
situations.
right?
You know, you have a best friend for this, you have a best friend for this.
Yeah.
But I think about people, not necessarily for what they can do for me, but it kind of is. It's like who am I to them and who are they to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
It's a partnership.
It is. And
like
it
you
requiring
offer,
active
offer
effort.
things, whether it's an ear,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or like a space. Like
Yes. And so it's, who do you call to feed the cows at 4 a.m.? Be that person.
Like
And if you're not that person, why are you not that person?
yeah.
It's like, oh, because it's 4 a.m., that's a horrible time to get up. I don't want to do that. Like,
Right.
it's that. Or was I partying until 2 a.m. last night, 2 a.m., and I just went to sleep an hour ago? You know, like, are you available to be the person that's somebody can rely on?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you called them. They said they're going to do it. They're on their way. Did they actually do the job? Or did they fall back asleep? The cows didn't get fed.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
So,
I like that a lot.
that's a good one. It stuck with me.
That's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video the other day, and this guy's like a really good relationship person, but he was like, I see all the time that you are looking for the ideal person, ideal mate for your life, your partner, but are you the ideal person?
Ooh.
And so I was like, that's the thing. And it's like, if we live in such like a consumer based society where like we just want what we want, but it's like if you think about like pushing out what you're good at and like the things you offer, then the right people will come to you. It's like, it's almost like reverse psychology, like the situation, like,
yeah,
you know. And that's why I think like the really good people are the ones that give the most,
yeah,
and don't ask for things. I mean, no one likes anybody that's like bumming shit off of them. It's like the most annoying thing ever.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't give too much of yourself. You have to find a balance. But
well, you know, I'm a big energies person.
yeah.
I truly believe you are the energy that you put out into the world. What you put out into the world is what you will receive in return. If you're an asshole, I hope bad shit happens to you. Like, sorry, but you suck. If you're a wonderful person and you're constantly putting good energy into the world, that is what you'll receive in return. Like, nobody's gonna be like, oh man, she's an amazing person, I want to shit on her. You know, like it's. I mean, some people are like that, I guess, but it's genuinely, you know, if you are a good person, good things will happen. If you're a bad person, karma's a bitch.
I do believe in karma, but I almost want bad people to have good things happen to them, so that way they have no fucking excuse. Like, you know what? Good shit happens, and you choose to be this way. That's on you. And like you're, you know, there's no, I mean, they won't notice it, but like, I almost like want it to be like an extra little.
I'm gonna kill you with kindness.
With kindness, yeah, because it's like, why are you the way you are? There's no need for
The
it.
Office.
I've never really got into that.
Oh, well, I'm kind of contemplating why we're friends now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I took that personally. I'm just kidding.
No, I watched Office Space. Does that count?
No.
Movie?
No.
It's funny.
It is funny. It's good. Oh, man.
What else we got?
All right.
We need to find a way to like monitor our time.
Oh, yeah. We've been talking we like to talk. Can you tell?
43-ish minutes.
43-ish minutes. Well, we talked about books. Did you want to talk about other books you would recommend?
Well, I have all these sitting here
Yeah.
because we were talking about mindset and complacency and oh my god, there's so many books.
You are a library. She always has the perfect book for the perfect situation. If you need something, she's like, I have a book to recommend to you. She pulls her monocle off.
Right?
know.
Yeah.
So what books do we have here?
We have The Magic of Thinking Big. This is old. Like, look how yellow these pages are. So all these books have the same kind of concept. They are just what you put out there, manifesting. You know, we didn't really talk about manifesting.
Manifesting your dreams and how to get there. It's all mindset, right? It's all mindset.
Like, just knowing that, like, you literally, like, this was an idea in someone's head at one point.
Yeah.
They've created it, they've sold it. That if that person had never thought, I could do this and I can make it really well,
Yeah.
it would never exist. So, like, thinking positive and imagining what your future looks like, you know, having a vision board or Pinterest, whatever.
Yeah.
Law of attraction is putting good thoughts out there.
Good.
This one is really cool. It's kind of like more like the sciencey stuff, but it talks about like real life examples about people that like they'll like experiments. And so it's pretty cool to see how powerful the mind is. I mean, there's people, you can go real deep into it, that like believe that you can completely obtain anything that you imagine. Maybe not in the way that you're thinking, you know, like there's the whole idea behind, oh, well, I can just like dream that I was a, you know, pro snowboarder, but like maybe I'm, you know, like maybe I'm not that good at snowboarding, it's not in my wheelhouse to be that good. But my dream is to like helicopter snowboard. Well, maybe I don't get there the way that I think I'm going to, but if that's still my dream and I'm working at it, because I am allowing myself to dream that I can get there no matter what. You're
setting yourself up to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I'm staying positive, and maybe I keep that positive mindset and I meet someone who's like, oh, I have a helicopter. I'm like, dude. And
well, I have a snowboard. Let's go.
Like, you know? So if anybody does it, not really, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
But
so they may not know this about you, but you're big with Andy Frisella. You're big with doing the 75 hard and all that.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
Do you want to talk about the manifesting portion of your phase 2 or whatever?
Phase 1.
Phase 1, yeah.
That was really good. That was hard.
But like, how did that? What did you do with that? And how did that set you up? Like, because you were like, when you were doing that every day, you were just like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to get there this way and this. You were very like, this is my ambition.
And ever since then, I'm like, I should do this again. And then I don't. It's like, unless I'm being made to do it.
Because you have to actively manifest.
I know.
It's all about checking in.
I need to, I don't have a routine anymore. My life is like a hot mess. So it's like, it's hard to, you know, wake up, shower, brush my teeth, manifest for 10 minutes. Like, I gotta like book it in my day. I have to get back to that because I did feel really good.
But what did you do? What is that?
So phase 1 of 75 hard, you have to do 10 minutes of active visualization.
What is active visualization?
Like I describe it like a daydream. So like visioning yourself. Sometimes it helped me to like close my eyes. You can't be like laying down sleeping. You have to be like up and active, and your blood should be flowing. You know, you should be alert. But
you just think about things that you wanted in life.
Dreaming about like what, like walking into my front door. What does it look like? So it's specific. What do I do with my day, my time? Who am I spending my time with? What kind of things make me happy?
In the dream,
what does my body look like?
Yeah.
What kind of vehicle do I drive? Like, what does my family look like? All of these things. And so like, I'm not a very good like creative type in my, like, I'm analytical versus like, so it's really hard for me to like close my eyes and I just see blackness. Like I cannot.
Not me.
Right, but that's just how my brain works. Which is weird because like, don't ask me to do math. I don't know why. Like I should balance out or something. But but like, you know, if you tell me to close my eyes and like picture something, I literally cannot see anything.
That's
like,
crazy.
You could tell me to close my eyes and picture clouds. I cannot see clouds.
Oh, I see all the clouds.
I can't. It's just black.
No.
And I can't turn it on and off.
I'm turning clouds into like images, like when you're a kid and you look up into the clouds and you see things in them. How like the beauty of imagination of kids, man.
I used to think that I was fucking weird, and I tell people that I never dream. There's very, very few times that I dream, and people have always tried to convince me like, oh, you probably dream, you just don't remember it. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, like I don't see things. Like I literally, like, it's like my brain's a computer. I can turn it off.
Oh.
And on. Like I don't.
Cannot.
I mean, I don't know how exactly. Like maybe someone else knows more about REM sleep than I do, but like I don't think I dream. Like there's some times when I can't shut my brain off, and I have like repeat dreams. It's almost like my brain is like digging back into like a thing when it feels something.
I heard that that's like a trauma response.
And probably. But so like that's the only time I have dreams is when, and they're repeats usually.
Yeah.
Or like the same exact story but like different people maybe, but like the same thing, like this happens and this happens and this happens.
What I liked about when you were doing this was you're like, it's not about how I'm gonna get there. You're not making a list of like steps to get to what you want. You're literally just envisioning the life you want.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to of course check in and be like, how am I gonna get there? But like during that visualization, it's like taking time to realize this is what I want in life. Like, this is what I want. And I think a lot of people don't dream big enough for that.
They don't allow themselves to.
Yeah.
Because they think if it's unattainable, then, like, what's the point? It's like window shopping.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is like, it's fun and it gives you motivation to like
Yeah,
do the work.
I want the house with I want to paint the door green. I want to be cutting orange slices up on a Saturday morning for my kids' soccer games. Like, I want that. But there's also, I want to be really successful in my career. I want to be, like, there's so many things that I want to sit down and actively think about them. I don't think we take the time to do that.
I don't think so either.
And we should.
Yeah, you know.
Manifest.
Now that you said that, since I haven't done it since phase 1 ended, which was like April, like maybe mid-May, or no, early May, because I had a date in the first week of May and I had a drink that night, so I was off it by then. But so, yeah, I haven't done it since then, but I remember feeling so good and liking it. I told myself when I ended, I was like, I'm gonna keep this as a habit, and I just didn't. And
you gotta find what works for you. Dream boards work for people. I have a hefty Pinterest.
And I was full of Kimmy's Pinterest.
My Pinterest. A lot of my boards are secret because y'all don't need to know all that. It's a little scary, but it's a good place to just put down like exciting things, ideas. Like find what works for you, but always be working on like, what do I want? How do I get there?
Yeah, I think when I was in, I started out. I'm in a coaching group, the Lions Den, right now. When I was in my first coaching group ever, it was CCB, Clear, Calculated, Ambitious by Rob Bailey, and he had us do like a 10-minute brain dump, but then the second part was a 10-minute of affirmations, and that was a kind of different way of doing it. So like, it's just, it helped with your mindset and like inspiration for things. Like when I was doing that, it was more of like a verbal, which I'm like a verbal person. That one worked really well for me, because I was saying I am a business owner before I got my LLC.
The power of the word, like we said before.
Yeah, and that's why like football teams like chant things before they start. You know,
exactly.
But that really worked well, because I was telling myself like, you know, like I'm a great partner. Now I'm in a relationship. Hopefully. But you know, like I feel like telling yourself like I'm a good parent, like I work hard, like these things.
Yes.
So there's like two different ways to do it. Like one is more like, what do you want to look like in the future, and one is more like you're almost like saying like those things, like what does it look like, and tell yourself that you are that now, so you almost like believe that it's possible in order to do the steps to get there.
Words are power. The energies you put in the world, the words you put in the world, they mean something. So if you're saying negative things towards yourself, like they may seem like, oh man, I look so fat today. That's how you feel. That's like you're saying it out loud. So why aren't we saying kind things to ourselves? You never regret being kind, right? So it's like, hey, punk, you look cute today. I love that. Maddie Forward put that on her Instagram, and I say that. I'm like, you know what? I may not feel cute, but you're cute.
I've seen a few of those like trending reels and stuff going around where people are like looking at themselves in the mirror and they're like, you're fucking awesome. Yeah. And like I have stuff written on my mirror, but I don't like verbally speak to myself in the mirror. It seems silly, but honestly, like you said, the power. But it's great. It doesn't matter. Like you're doing it privately to yourself. Like I think both could be effective. Like I have the words written, and as long as I read them, that can work.
I mean, even saying it, like if you're doing that into the mirror at the gym, like what harm is that doing to somebody sitting in the stall being like, well, she's cute today, maybe I'm cute today, you know, like good positivity spreads. And I think it should.
I agree.
So we should probably wrap it up because we've been talking a little bit, but
53 minutes.
If you guys want to listen to us some more or watch us, we are going to put, if you're watching on YouTube, you can put the books recommendations in the description, right? Yeah, so if you are interested, she is a very, very good recommender for books. We're going to talk about, what topics are we going to talk about? Like, what is this podcast? Like,
I mean, I think that we decided that we are just wanting to talk about like self-growth, being the best version of yourself, things that we have found that are helpful.
Yeah. It's varied. I mean, we'll talk about a lot of things. We have life experiences to share with you guys.
We also want to talk about like funny shenanigans, like gym etiquette and dating, and
so stay on your toes.
Some of the topics will be more serious, like you know, we got
body image.
Body image
sucks.
stuff. Just the bodybuilding sport in general has a lot of topics. So a lot of our stuff will be like health related, whether it's mental or physical. And we'll probably open it up to see if you guys want to hear anything specific. You can write the DM us or email us.
Give us stuff you want to hear us discuss. Questions, we'll answer them. Maybe. Be nice.
This ain't a PC show.
Be nice. Anyway, how can they find us?
We have an Instagram.
We do. We have an Instagram. We have an email. If you
Start
want
to be great podcast. There's underscores underneath.
Start to be great podcast. We have start to be great podcast@gmail.com if you want to send us emails with any questions or anything.
And then our personal pages. Mine's Americana, like
Spell
America. AMURICANNA.
Okay. Mine's just my name, Kimmie, KIMMIE_Croson, CROSON. I am not creative like you when it comes to names, I guess. If you want my fitness account, it's Kimmie, KIMMIE.fit, FIT.
Yeah, I wanted to be Americana, like not like the redneck version, but there's some Russian chick with it, and I'm like, you don't even live here, bro.
She didn't even go here.
Actually, I think that she might go to school here, but she's definitely, it says Russian, and I'm like, take the American out of your name. I don't know if she's a citizen or not. I can't hate it too bad, but I'm just mad that she took my name.
Yeah.
But I'll take the redneck
America.
version. Americana. Also, it kind of works because I love coffee and I make coffee and I do jujitsu, and there's a move, wrist lock, that's like, or arm bar, I don't know, it's not armament, it's called an Americana.
Oh, I like
So everyone's like, oh, it's a jujitsu name. I'm like, it's a coffee name. And they're like,
well,
both, I guess. It works.
Got you.
So,
well, we're going to post our podcast when? On Monday at 6 a.m.?
Mondays, every Monday.
Every Monday at 6 a.m.
We're committed to this.
We're committed. Whether they're good or not, we're posting them because you got to start to be great.